Hey guys, how's it going? It's X666X Iron Maiden. We are finally getting to it. Sabaton, Defense of Moscow. Basically, this came out, it was right when I already had a list of what I was already going to put out last week. I didn't want to throw it in right away. There was some other stuff I basically already had in mind that I was going to do, so now we're finally getting to it. It's a weird way to start off what I was going to make as my Japan week that I already knew in advance, but this was an important release, so I didn't want to skip it. You know how much of a fan we became of Sabaton after checking them out, basically almost their entire discography on the channel when we first started up the channel. That was our first, big, I guess you could say, discovery band that I had, because this is like my musical journey, finding new bands as well on top of the reactions. So there's always a soft spot in my heart for them. We don't put on the Aviators anymore though. I always forget them, and they're never in the house anyway. They're usually, and if they are, I just always forget. Too late now. We used to always put them on back in the day, but yeah, whatever. Defense of Moscow. This one should be interesting. As usual, I don't do any reading up beforehand. I just like to go in blind, but Defense of Moscow, most likely the Defense of Moscow from a war, obviously. So let's get into it. Okay, before he gets into that, already beautifully, oh man, all their music videos are so cinematic nowadays. I'm curious if they used wargaming again for the tanks. They're obviously CGI, clearly, and they look amazing. I know they used them before. I don't think I watched the music video with it. For the video they used, somebody told me they used World of Tanks as like a sponsor one time through wargaming. At least I thought they did. If I might be incorrect there. I know obviously we did World of Warships, helped them out. So wargaming again, same company, helped them out with Bismarck. So I'm curious if they helped them out of here in any way, shape, or form. I figured if they would, then it probably would have been mentioned somewhere. So probably not, because I know wargaming would definitely want their name on here if you did. But they just look so good. It kind of makes me think again, are they working with that team again to really get that really nice design, or is this somebody else who also has this really nice design of tanks? Because there's a lot of detail on them. I'm usually good at remembering names of tanks. I can't remember the name of this tank at the moment. Even looking back at it, we're at 51 seconds. It's the God damn it! I should know this. It's the Panzer. I can't remember what number. I hope I'm not wrong on that. I'm going to look like an idiot. I used to be a tanker. We didn't have to know World War II tanks, though, because we never went against them. But let's continue. Cinematic intro, cinematic music intro to start too. Russia 1941. They don't let it long. We stand our ground, a million strong. We are ready for the strike. Face the army of the Reich, a million strong. This is our land, they don't belong. Here march our Shukos and Stalin's orders. Defend the motherland, Moscow shall not fall. Stand in full command, the blood for the homeland. Hear the mother's call, raise for the storm. Moscow will never give in, there is no surrender. Force them into retreat and into defeat. Okay, before he goes into that, obviously we have T-Series tanks coming up here, which again, hopefully I'm not messing up. I'm going off like literally tip of my mind without doing a refresher before this, because there's so many tanks that I know, and sometimes I mess them up. I'll look like a fool if I messed up all these. And you guys can definitely grill me in the comments. I remember saying before, when we were doing Sabaton, that I often enjoyed the newer stuff more because I found that they were evolving their sound. The more they went forward, adding in more elements, orchestration, synths, keyboards. It still seems... Oh, excuse me. The dog's back. Especially this week. It sure seems like they're 100% still going in that direction. There's so many extra sounds added in here, and they've been doing it a lot lately. Obviously, these last 2 albums have been very grandiose in the feel of their music. Props to sound guys mixing, doing all that stuff, doing a great job, making it all sound really great too. Other than that, it's I'm getting my usual Sabaton fix. They have just a delivery that's always theirs. You know what I mean? It's kind of hard to mistake it. I kind of knew what I was getting into when I came in. It's not too often that they surprise me to a huge degree, like where they're doing something completely different. So I had a feeling it would be this matter. It feels like their energy is always like we're marching into battle, and that's what they went with here, with the grand battle going on here in the background in a sec. Anyway, so far everything sounds great. We're going into battle. Let's do it. Keep going.
Face the bullets of their guns, Russia's daughters and her sons, all the brave who stand against the typhoon wave. From the mountains and the plains, coming thousands on the trains, day and night, rolling in to join the fight. From Kazakhstan to Magadan, call of the motherland, Russia shall prevail. Standing for command, the blood for the homeland. Hear the mother's call, rise for the storm. Moscow will never give in, there is no surrender. Force them into retreat and into defeat.
Oh, that orchestration in the background? Okay, yeah. Okay, before we finish this off, I love the longer solos I've been hearing from a few of the tracks I've been putting out lately, from the last album and with some of these new tracks coming out. I always said in the past, they don't need the long solos, but they're always so good at them. Like the longer ones, we're used to getting like a little snippet of like 10 seconds, and then they move on with their song. They kind of, the older stuff a lot, they're going through their, not even their older stuff, just going through the discography, you'll notice there's not usually like grandiose solos, because that's not the point that they're going for. They're telling a story. But I do love when they do it, because they're so good at it. I love when they do it. Doesn't matter which guitarist they've had, obviously. We've had change of guitarists. They're all amazing at what they do. It just, this one felt like it fit perfectly with the storytelling, get to see those guys fighting. He's like throwing this guy up in to the ground. He's holding a grenade in his hand. Well, the I can't remember the proper term for it, but it's basically a grenade on a stick, because it would let them throw it further. It was heavier, so you could when you're throwing it, give it more momentum. You could throw them farther. Was what the concept behind it was, which I have seen videos of people covering these. They would get you a decent amount of distance more. Accuracy wise, it was actually pretty good too, to a certain degree, because you could really, like, when you're letting it go, as long as you had a good throw, it would throw it basically straight. So that was good too. Not as much bounce as well. It would kind of like hit, but it would, because it's so long and heavier, it would just land. So it was kind of good. But it's gonna land here, right next to him. So I hope it's not active because you're both dead. But at least you saved the lives of your buddies. It's kind of like a sweet moment to show in the solo, like just this battle between these two guys. Because I find with Sabaton lately, like I feel like I end up talking about the video a lot more than just the music, because they're so good at putting their videos together now. Like I'm absolutely sure this isn't Wargaming now, by the way. Like I can tell now that this is a different company doing the CGI, because it's a complete different style. But it looks good. I love the lighting they chose. Like everything in the background's dark, but it not even in the background, even in the foreground, it's like a certain color that's like darker, but they still have like the lighting on top as if like the sun was out and they're in a battle, and you can see it on the people that are in the scene. But everything's dark, like to make it kind of like the grid of battle, I think is what they went for here, and it fits it so well. This is one of those straightforward like Sabaton songs that just like drive a point, tell a story. Love it. Let's finish it off, and then we'll talk some more at the end.
Stand and follow command, and blood for the whole land.
Ooh, I love that.
Moscow will never give in, there is no surrender. Force them into retreat and into defeat. Stand and follow command, and blood for the whole land. Hear the mother's call, wait for the storm. Moscow will never give in, there is no surrender. Force them into retreat and into defeat. Stand and follow command, and blood for the whole land.
Alrighty. Beautiful. Loved it. Well, then it just ends with his face. I'm a huge fan of like World War II Russia. Like the whole like I love their weaponry, their tanks. I love how they went for like the heavier tanks. It's always been I even like their warships and everything. I like how they went for the firepower. It's my style of like play and like games that involve World War II. They usually have like my style, what I like to go for. So it also kind of like, hearing songs about like the defense of Moscow and talking about Russia, it kind of gets me a little bit more hyped coming into it as well, because I don't always believe in their politics and what they did or had to go through. I understand why, to a certain degree, why he just kept throwing people to their deaths. I could kind of understand a little bit of the reasoning behind it at the time, but he probably wasted a lot of people for no reason doing that, even though it ended up working. But in general, this is a really great song. I love the ending where everybody, I think it's the rest of the band members too, I can't tell if it's a layered version of him singing or if it's the other guy singing with him, but I believe it's all of them. Singing the chorus at the end with all the orchestration, synthesizer, keyboard, whatever they're using here, over the top and the back. It just makes it feel like it's a huge, grandiose ending to the song right after the solo. And they're just so great at these videos, man. I've kind of like stopped looking at them just for their music, just because I'm always excited to see what they're going to do with their videos on top of that now. Because as you've all known, they have their second channel about the Sabaton history, and they put a lot of effort into like the history portion of their music. So I'm not surprised about how much they do it in their music videos now too, and I love it. I love how they are educating newer people to well, I say newer people, younger people, newer people. I guess they are newer people, but younger people would be the correct way of saying it. Younger people to World War II, World War I, other battles that have happened as well around those times. throughout the years, in a very visual and pleasing sound way of doing it. A little bit less probably in North America. I know that they get a lot more fan base over in Europe, but I feel like Sabaton is getting a bigger fan base in North America, especially thanks to the reaction channels, the vocal coaches checking them out, you know, our roadies checking them out, and our Vikings checking them out. It's been great seeing them get the recognition they deserve, especially like from when I was checking them out. You know, it's been almost 4 years ago when we started doing them as the daily band till we had gone through almost all their discography. I find that they're like the amount that people are checking them out has increased almost double from back then, and I love it. It's great. I love that they get the exposure that they do. Hopefully one day I can meet the guys, because that'd just be cool. That'd be cool. Even just seeing them live would be cool. I haven't had that opportunity yet either. COVID's also made it worse. Having a kid financially makes everything worse for going to see shows now. Plus, I might, you know, be taking a different education path and getting out of cooking finally, so I might push that back a bit. But hey, one day we'll see them. Still have plenty of time. Hopefully you guys enjoyed checking this one out with me. If you did, please hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to get notified when I drop new videos. And as always, you guys have a good one, and I'll catch you later.